Hey everyone, welcome to another Citizenship Sit Down. On this episode of the podcast, we are talking to Jonathan Jablonski. This was really an interesting chat. So Jonathan is one of the partners on CitizenPL and citizenIT, who helps folks from South America get their second citizenships. So he's a partner on the apps. He's been in the citizenship space for a while. And today we were having a chat about, getting Polish citizenship and making that easier for people. Interestingly enough, Jonathan is a Argentina native and he's very passionate about Argentina. So this was a really interesting chat where we got to talk kind of about Poland. We talked about Argentina, current trends in the world. I think it was interesting to see Jonathan kind of shared a lot of the same I guess the same views or same ideas that I did as well. So, but I guess the good news is that, very easy for you to get your citizenship in Argentina for really a not cheap price, or Poland. So without further ado, let's get into the podcast. And we are live. All right, Jonathan, great to chat to you again. As I was just mentioning in the pre-chat, I love the background as well. Awesome. I think we definitely have to do something like that for these videos so they can't see my bookcase, which is a mess, which is all blurred. But anyway, so like we've been chatting on and off for I guess a couple months now, starting to get to know you a little bit. But for anyone who's listening who's never heard of you, never heard of Mi Pasaporte Polaco, I hope I said that right. What can you kind of tell us about you and your background and your sort of early life and how you ended up here on a Google Meet with me this morning?
Yeah, sure, no problem. It would be a pleasure to, and thanks for having me on. So basically, I studied economics here in Argentina, which is where I'm originally from. I moved to Poland. I studied law and economics in Poland for 2 years in Warsaw and Krakow. And all my family's Polish, so all 8 of my great-grandparents, all 16 of my great-great-grandparents are all from Poland. So I went and visited, all the towns that they were from, and I spent a lot of time, living there and getting to know the culture, learning the language. So I had a really good time, and a lot of people that I knew from university or from other areas of life all wanted me to help them with their Polish citizenship because I already had it. So I would just derive them to people I knew that did it, and they all got back to me saying like, look, they never replied to me, or look, they can't help me, or I just don't like the people, like do it for me like yourself and we'll pay you. So after I got enough of those like complaints and basically begging me to help them do it, I said okay, and I started, and I was in Poland, and I just started doing Polish citizenships. And a lot of the people that were already in the space would only take super easy cases where people had all the paperwork ready, and that wasn't the case for me. I said, look, if you have Polish blood, you have the right to do this, and I don't care if you have, your family's passport or birth certificate or whatever. I'm gonna find it for you, and I'm gonna get you your citizenship that you deserve by blood. So I developed a whole network of archivists in Poland, in Belarus, which used to be Poland, in Ukraine, which also used to be Poland, as well as Lithuania. So we have archivists in all of these countries. We do thorough and exhaustive searches for people, and it doesn't matter if your case is easy or hard. If you have the blood right to get Polish citizenship, then I will take on your case.
Awesome. No, that's fantastic. Probably just a slight segue. What's the most sort of interesting or bizarre case you've kind of seen and helped someone with? Because I know from myself looking at Croatian, Italian, etc. There are some weird cases where like people have sort of migrated, they've changed their name. There was someone who was like a fugitive from the law, changed their whole identity, and then this person went, like their grandkids started, and they're like, hey, this person doesn't exist. We have no record of them. So that was a real mission. But yeah.
Look, we get hard cases all the time. Even our slogans like difficult cases, easy solutions, and we're positioned that way as an authority and an expert in the space. I actually, they ran an article on me on the biggest newspaper here in Argentina called Clarín, and they acknowledged it, and they acknowledged all the work I did, and that was just last week. So I'm super happy with that. But basically, weird cases are the norm. Like what's not the norm are easy cases for us. So I can run you through a couple of examples. People who maybe left Poland during, 1920 and 1938, which is the Second Polish Republic. And these guys, have Ukrainian last names or Russian last names. And the clients always think that their family's not Polish because really ethnically they're not Polish, but they're legally Polish. So we have a ton of those. I have a lot of people who came here as minors, and minors, their citizenships depend on their parents. So, their parents maybe died in concentration camps or whatever. We got to find a death certificate, prove they were Polish, prove they never naturalized, that they died in the old country, and that the kid, even though he migrated here, he still has the citizenship. I have a very, very weird case. This one's actually super weird. An Italian lady married a Polish man, and that Polish man died, and then she remarried someone after 1951 and had kids with them. And that lady's ethnically Italian, but she's legally Polish because she takes her deceased Polish husband's citizenship. So her kids are entitled to Polish citizenship. So
wow.
that's a super weird case that we're trying to fight right now. Name changes happen all the time. A lot of times I have to educate clients on why the names were changed, that phonetically it's spelled phonetically it sounds the same. It's just adapted to the new language of the new country where the people migrated. And the Polish court is actually super good with that. They know their last names are hard, and they just expect last names to change. So lots of cases like that, lots and lots of cases that are not so clear cut and simple, but we get them all solved.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's definitely not easy. So it sounds like you kind of almost in a way sort of fell into this whole so helping people solve problems, and then have started a business out of it. But was that your sort of primary driver, or was were there some other factors that sort of helped played a part in you starting this whole sort of venture?
Look, of course, business is nice, and of course, being validated by clients is super nice. There was, of course, an overarching theme and just a bigger motive in general, which was, get people connected with their Polish roots. I found out, my family were from Poland when I was young-ish, probably around 13, even though my last name is super Polish. In English, it would be Jablonski. In Polish, it's Jabłoński. I only found out that it's Jabłoński once I started learning Polish when I was around 19 years old. I'm the first Jabłoński to go back to Poland in almost 100 years, because my great grandfather left Poland in 1922, and the first time I went to Poland was in 2017 or 18. So 95 years. So it's super important, and I could have picked any country in the world to go to study. I have a ton of passports. I have 4 passports. I have Argentine, Polish, Canadian, and US, and I'm working on a couple of others at the moment. I could have gone to study anywhere. I decided to go to Poland to connect with my roots. I think it's super important for people to know where they're from, and not just know where they're from, understand their family history. That's why that's how the searches really started, and they're also a great legal base for cases. I'm also Jewish, Polish Jew. I think it's important for people that were expelled from Poland at some point from wars. Don't have to be Jewish, but people got shifted around, distributed. Just wars are a big, driver of people leaving and emigrating the country. So if you're originally Polish or your family's originally Polish, I think you should go back. You don't have to go live there, but you should, check it out, see if you like it, see how things have maybe changed. That's a big motive. I help people get their passports, but I always tell them, look, here's your citizenship, go do your passport. I help them with that as well. And it's please, go to Poland, see if you like it. And if you like it, stay, or at least reconnect with your family. I think that is the overarching theme here.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that 100%. For everyone's kind of journey, our own journey, that whole kind of thing. It's it's important to know where you came from, and what where your family's from, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. Awesome. So I guess, would that also be the same thing that you enjoy most about sort of helping people get they're getting their citizenship, or is there like a key moment for you in the whole process? Is it like the smile when they hold the passport or something, or when they get a letter saying, "Hey, we let you in," or
That's great. I mean, I have a ton of clients that, see this as a tool, and that's fine. Like, the passport is a tool, and it's just one of the many tools that the citizenship grants you. But the best is honestly seeing young people who have a profession or have talent, and they're maybe stuck in a country that's not giving them a ton of opportunities. And, they get their passport and they move to Austria, they move to Germany, they move to Italy, Spain, and, they go from making $1,000 a month to already having a job lined up, and they just need this passport, and boom, they're at like 7,000 euros per month. They made 7 times more just with this piece of paper, and they're so happy. They bring me champagne, they bring me cakes, they bring me wines, they write me like letters of appreciation. They send me videos, they send me pictures, not only like with their passport in hand, but like, I keep in touch with a lot of the clients I've helped, and I've helped over 1,500 clients over the years. And a lot of them, like, I'm still in contact with 5 years later. They'll write to me. They're like, "Hey man, like, I just finished my master's degree for free, thanks to you," or, "I landed this job in engineering thanks to you. Like, I'm so happy." And some of them, they get married, they have kids, and they're like, "Hey, I need you to do my kids." And it's been 6 years later. It's nice, people appreciate what I do. Like, they're grateful, and I'm grateful for that gratitude.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's awesome. It's a definitely rewarding feeling. You can even see you smile as you kind of recount the story. So it's good to see. That's it's very infectious sort of thing. To see that. So it's awesome. You are sort of making a real measurable difference in, as you said, not only their lives but their potential children's lives, and it's amazing.
Sure.
So hey, a couple hours and you've kind of changed the world. So I'd say it's pretty awesome. All right. So any prospective future clients out there, the ones who haven't already been with, gone through the whole circle with you and are now asking you to do their kids, do you have any are there any sort of like, what are the, three key pieces of advice you could do them to make both their life and your life easier throughout this whole process? I don't know if you have any, or if there is or not, that's fine as well. But if they said, "Hey, Jonathan, I want to get my Polish citizenship," what would be the first, 2, 3 things you need to get them to do before they come to you, I guess?
Sure. So there are a couple of things that you should do, or that I would tell them before we even get on the phone. The first one is like, okay, like, be very clear about who the Polish ancestor is. Is there just one? Is there many? You got to know at least, their birth year, or like a range of like 5 years max. You should know very clear cut how that person relates to you. Like, is it your, paternal grandfather? Is it your maternal great grandfather? And you should know the birthdays or the birth years of like everyone from them down to you. That way I can actually analyze the case and know if you qualify or not, because there are some laws that apply, and they're based on people's gender and birth years. So I got to do that analysis. I do that all over the phone. It takes me like 2 minutes. I've already been doing this for so long that with a couple of questions I can already tell. There are other people that need back and forth emails, 100 emails, whatever. I get on the phone, and in less than 5 minutes, I know if you qualify or not. But I do need the data to be able to do that. I'm not a wizard. I need the data. And one of the important things is, if you don't have Polish papers, like, first of all, you should try and find Polish papers by yourself. See if your aunt has them, your mother, your grandfather. See who has the papers, because the papers sometimes are there, sometimes they're not. But you should do a preliminary finding yourself before coming to me, so we know if we have to search for the documents in Europe or if they're in your possession. If you can't find the papers, then you definitely need to know what city or what town they were from. I cannot help people if they don't know what town they're from, because the archives are organized locally. It's not even like regionally sometimes. Like, sometimes they're regionally, but usually locally, and definitely not federally. So if you're just like, "Oh, I have a name and a last name and a birthday, can you help me?" Like, no, I can't. Like, I need to know what town they were from so I can send someone to that town to look for your papers. It's as simple as that. If you've got the town, the name, and the birthday, I can help you find the papers. If you don't have that, then don't bother calling me, because it's just impossible. So do your homework first and then call me.
Yeah, good advice. It's always, you can't go wrong doing some of your own homework beforehand. I think everyone will kind of say in this whole space. So yeah, good advice. All right, I guess so. In the pre-chat, we were talking a bit about Argentina generally, and stuff like that. But I guess is this whole space is kind of. I mean, I think I've been in and around it for probably close to 2 years now, and there's already been a lot has changed in multiple countries in the last few years. So I guess, is there anything that you're super excited about, or whether it's, can be anything, but in this kind of whole citizenship or helping people get citizenship in the next 5 years, or any trends or any crazy theories, anything that sort of you think is top of mind?
Look, I can discuss three things. Two are off the top of my mind that I'm super happy about. So they recently changed the law in Poland. Not really a law, but case law. They turned over, Supreme Court case law, which had prohibited women born before 1933 outside of Poland to, grant citizenship to their descendants. And they overruled that. So now it doesn't matter when your grandmother or mother or great grandmother was born. Like, if the rest of the rules apply, like, you're good. So that's huge, because I had a ton of clients whose grandmother was born in 1932 or 1931 or 1930, and they couldn't get citizenship. So super happy about that they opened up the funnel after having restricted it. And for Argentina, there's a new kind of residency program that allows you, by just having around at today's exchange rate, which fluctuates a lot. So today, at today's exchange rate and at today's current bond yields, with around 6,000 US dollars, you qualify for an investor visa, basically, or a rentista visa. And it's not a visa like I'm, mislabeling it. It's a residence. So after spending 2 years here, you can apply for citizenship. It's the easiest passport in the world. It's literally the easiest and cheapest second passport in the world. So, and it's highly ranked. If I'm not mistaken, it's in the top 30 passports of the world. It lets you get into like 100 and something countries without a visa. It's huge. It lets you get into any Mercosur country, which is like anything in South America, without a visa. It lets you do business here. You've got free healthcare, free university, a ton of free benefits, with literally $6,000 like in a brokerage account here, and it's paying you 377% per year in pesos. I don't know if you heard that right, or if you like internalized it. It pays you 377% at today's rate to keep your money here. And on top of that, you get a residency. And after that, you get citizenship and passport. And 377% is a lot. Inflation here is a lot too, but it's nowhere near that. I think inflation this year might be like, between 100 to 150%. So it like pays you double inflation. It's like in the US, they pay you like 15% or something on a bond. And they gave you a green card. You know what I mean? Like, it's a serious program.
Basically free.
It's
Almost.
free. They pay you to move here.
Yeah.
They pay you to move here. Okay. So you guys should definitely take that into account. And those are two very positive trends. A negative trend I see is that governments are becoming more totalitarian. They're, depriving citizens of freedom. There's a lot more KYC going on in the world. For those who don't know, that's know your customer. So they're asking people, to identify themselves. And there are a lot of people in the world that don't like that. So Argentina is, in my opinion, a country that has first world amenities, but third world kind of, I don't know how to explain it, not really laws, but third world levels of control. So people here are very free to live their own life. We have a completely libertarian right-wing government that's super like laissez-faire. You can do whatever you want, and there's like not a lot of restrictions. And if you know how to live like a local, you can have a very good time here for super cheap. I actually did a video on it on my YouTube channel, kind of detailing the costs of living here, which is basically free. So just in general, the world in general is turning for the worse, but there are definitely hidden gems out there of places that could be your paradise, and they're super accessible. So the trend overall is negative for how the world is going, but there's a shining light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I agree with, I think, most of that. I think, there's probably, I guess, everyone it's kind of comes back to, two sort of mindsets at the moment, where some governments are looking at how can I keep the people in and increase taxation, whereas others are saying, hey, how can we sort of make this a more attractive place that people want to come and live and invest? And I think Argentina is definitely, bang right on the money for their approach to doing things, because they're actually making you want to go there. You can, for $6,000, you can get residency, you'll get paid. Like, it's, who doesn't want to do that? It's,
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Argentina has been a protectionist economy for so long. They're opening up now. Real estate prices are like at ground level. Basically, our worst real estate prices were 2001 to 2002, and it was like slightly up from there in 2003, 4. We are currently sitting at 2003 and a half prices. So between 2003, 2004, that's where we're sitting. So we're almost at rock bottom in terms of prices, adjusted for inflation, obviously. So you can buy real estate in the best neighborhoods in the country, but like the best neighborhood in the country for like $200 a square foot, in like a serious tower, like on a serious floor in Palermo, like beside a park. So everything is cheap, everything is good. I think this is the place to be, and at least it's where I will be staying for the foreseeable future. And I've lived in a lot of countries. Like I've lived, not visited, lived in 5 countries, and I've been over 3 continents. So in North America, South America, and Europe, I've lived in all those continents for a very extended period of time. And I've visited over 30 countries and almost 100 cities. And I can tell you, there's no place like Buenos Aires today. There are other times when I'd say Buenos Aires, like today, it's the place to be.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's awesome stuff. I guess we'll wrap it up on a positive note. People know you're on the apps, on CitizenPL, citizenIT for citizenship. It sounds like we're going to have to release our Argentina app quicker based on your glowing recommendation. But where else can people find you, and where can they get in contact with you today if they want to get their Polish citizenship, or they're interested in moving to Argentina, or any of the above, I guess?
Yeah, sure. So we have like 3 brands. So I do Polish citizenship, we do Argentine citizenship, and we also do Italian. You can find me on any of the websites. So mipasaportepolaco.com, also mypolishpassport.com. It's the same thing. You can send us an email there, or just the Spanish website. We have English speaking staff on all of them. You speak English or Spanish, doesn't matter, we'll reply to you. We have WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the fastest way to communicate with one of our staff. We have people on that constantly. Email. You can follow us on Instagram at Mi Pasaporte Polaco. We're everywhere. We're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, WhatsApp. You guys can book a phone call with me, and we'll go over your case. For Polish citizenship, it's free. Like, I'll take your call for free. You tell me what papers you have, I'll analyze them on the spot, and I'll tell you if I can help you or not. I also do personalized calls for Argentine citizenship. Those do have a cost, but it's very reasonable, and it gets discounted from the fee at the end. And we can do something for your viewers, Nick, where I give them a % off the call. That's not a problem. Maybe we can give them a discount code. But yeah, we're everywhere. If you look up Dr. Jonathan Jablonski, you will find me. If you look up mipasaportepolaco.com, you will find me, and we can get in touch. I'll be happy to help you.
Awesome. I'll put some links in for anyone watching or listening, so that they can find you on any channel. But thanks. Really great conversation today. A lot of interesting things around ancestry, right up to where you should be for tomorrow. So really awesome. Really enjoyed talking to you. Take care.
Thank you, Nick. Bye. Take care.